Do you think the indoor neon light niche is any good, especially this holiday season? So, I mean, holiday season's a little bit, like, you're a little bit missing it now. Like, you can still jump on it somewhat, but you are kind of missing it now. In terms of indoor neon lights, I think it is a good niche. But the problem with lighting as a niche for Etsy is that it's high deactivations, okay? So if you're not doing something that's custom, often it will get taken down very, very, very quickly. Like you can see all, like I've just typed in indoor neon lights right here. Every single one of these listings is custom neon lights, custom neon lights, custom neon lights. So the thing with dropshipping is really, really good is that most of the time, like you'll get away with just listing whatever the fuck you want. In lighting niches, really like personalized stuff is the stuff that's going to stay up for the longest period of time. Obviously, we do have some kind of exclusions to that. We can even see like this product right here. This store is selling just some bullshit neon light, like nothing particularly interesting or personalized, but it's printing. You know, this is a complete dropshipping store. Like this is just like a full dropshipping store right here. We can have a quick look at what numbers they might be doing. We can make a guess. 6,200 orders, £100 average order value. So like what, 600 grand? But yeah, basically like neon lights, indoor neon lights is just not real. It's a great niche. Don't get me wrong. It's a niche that you can make a lot of money in. And there's a lot of stores that have like absolutely print in this niche. Because again, like this kind of stuff right here is £100. Let's see, it's free delivery, right? Like they are making a good amount of profit on this. Like really, this is going to cost £40. Again, this is probably going to be for a small size as well. So yeah, the smallest size, which is actually quite small, tiny, right, is 110. Most people are going to be spending what, 150, 180. So this kind of product is great, but the problem is deactivations. Just this type of niche is very, very, very heavy on deactivations when you aren't doing personalized. So, okay, so this store has done $950,000 in revenue. On average monthly, it does $17,000 in revenue. Average price is 153. That's pretty good. I mean, yeah, this is a great niche, and you can see here it's actually in China, right? You can see that it's in China there, like they're shipping everything from China. They're openly saying that they're shipping everything from China, so their margins will be great. But it's just a problem with deactivations in this niche. That's the only thing you really have to worry about this. So I don't know if I'd really focus on this niche. I think there's a lot of better niches out there than neon lights on Etsy. Like even if you just come to like home favorites, just see what Etsy themselves promote, right? What Etsy themselves promote is going to be the best things, right? Like home favorites, you see festive finds every price, you know, kind of focusing on cheaper stuff. You see giftable stuff, fashion finds, right? And then obviously wedding, and then also gift cards, right? So, well, I mean, registry is not really wedding, but it's not really something we focus on. But like focus on these kind of things. Like the best way to make money with Etsy is to focus on what they are promoting, focus on what they are pushing upon people. You know, like this shows you right here. Like even the home screen shows you, right? Like the home screen right here, festive deals, you know, host gifts. You know, again, this is a huge thing towards the Christmas period. People are selling, like everyone's hosting someone, pretty much, not everyone, but most people go around friends and family for like Thanksgiving in the US, obviously Christmas in the UK, and Boxing Day, and like spread out across this whole entire period, the Christmas period. There's so many days where people are going to be hosting, and because of this, they are doing up their house. They're making their house look nicer. They're getting different cutlery, different plates. You know, they're getting ornamental things for their homes to make their houses look nice. You know, it's about ego, vanity, you know, kind of thing. So like some stuff like this, prints, you know, fused glass, melted bottle, blah, 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 cheese plate. You know, this is the most random shit ever. Incredibly cheap to make, but it prints. And they're drop shipping from Turkey, right? They're drop shipping from Turkey. You know, simplest items in the entire world. Like they're doing fucking well on this. Single glass for 24. They're getting this for delivered should be like £6, you know? They're making 75% profit on this particular item. So in terms of neon stores, I would not focus on neon signs. I would focus on something that's better, such as home goods. Really anything to improve people's houses is the best thing to sell right now. Okay, bro, if you think Etsy... I think Etsy is not allowing Chinese tracking numbers. Bro, look at this store. This store is Chinese. Like this is a Chinese store that's been live on the platform for the past 2 years. It's not about not allowing Chinese tracking numbers. It's about doing things in the correct way, using the correct methods. That's what allows you to be successful on Etsy. It's not about you can't do this, you can't do this. It's just about doing things in the correct way. I mean, it is you can't do this, you can't do this, right? But it's not. That's not an issue. Chinese tracking numbers is not a particular issue because there is so many Chinese stores. Etsy allows Chinese sellers on the platform. Yeah, there's certain trackings that won't be picked up by Etsy's system, which may or may not be on purpose. But there's always ways to get around absolutely everything. Can we change a personal Etsy account to a limited later? Of course you can, right? Really the best way, I would really recommend most people to set up a limited company. I think a lot of people don't start businesses because of tax. And that's a very, very stupid thing to do in my opinion, right? No, it's not even fucking my opinion. Just it is a stupid thing to do. You know, at the end of the day, government doesn't want to fuck you over. They want you to make money so that they can take their share. You know, if you make no money, they don't get a share, you know? Right? Like if you're unemployed, they got to fucking pay you. So they want you to make money. They just want to take their cut. You know, in the UK, 25% corporation tax. So 25% of profits goes to the government. You know, there's ways to legally avoid most of that. Obviously you pay some of it, but it's okay. And then VAT, which is something you can't avoid. And I pay a lot of tax in, but you know, you got to deal with things. But yeah, you can add a limited later. And really it is probably the best way to go about it because it makes everything separate, makes everything a little bit better and a little bit easier, especially if you earn money personally. It's a little bit confusing. It's just easier to do that, you know? Hi, I made some listings, but Etsy remove after 30 seconds, but I changed background with photo room. How Etsy understand I found photos on AliExpress. So if Etsy are removing your pictures after 30 seconds, bro, it's going to be something due to your store setup, something weird or sus that you have done previously. It's not necessarily going to be about that listing. They just hate you and your store. So probably your store's flagged in that situation, right? You got to think like, I don't know, that's kind of the best situation to be in. You know, if Etsy removed my listings the second they saw an issue with it, testing would have been a lot easier. You know, I've tested so many different listings, so many different stores over the past couple of years, and it's understanding the systems, and it's much easier to understand the system if they take down your listing instantly. Do you think the store has to focus on one niche, or is it okay to do multiple niches in a single account? Like a store focused on home goods, am I dropshipping glasses, decor, etc.? So that's actually a super good question. That's a really good question. So it's a perfectly valid question. It's more like, should you do a niche store on Etsy or should you do a general store, right? The way that I like to explain it to people is if you look at the top 100 Etsy stores, right? So top stores by total sales. We see Caitlin Minimalist at the top right here. Caitlin Minimalist is a jewelry store that focuses, funnily enough, on minimalist jewelry. You know, they're just selling minimalist jewelry. You know, they're not selling gothic jewelry. They're not selling like dark jewelry. You know, they're selling jewelry for white chicks, right? For white girls, you know, from really the ages of probably 16 to 45. That's their target market. You know, they're specifically focusing on white girls within that age bracket. Okay. And then if you focus on the other stores, let's say craft supplies, you know, that's a bit of a broader one. But again, they're kind of selling the same type of shit. You know, they're selling craft supplies for jewelry. Like that's pretty much it. A little bit broader. Okay. I mean, let's take a look at another store. Silver Rain Silver. The best way to describe these type of things is just by looking at these other stores. So if you look at this store, again, the third largest store on the Etsy platform by total sales, right? These guys have done tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars, okay? This literally all the same shit, right? Again, you're really targeting white chicks, you know, 16 to 45. They're selling minimalist, small, cheap jewelry, okay? They're selling all in the exact same niche. You know, they're not differing too much outside of it. Okay, mainly they're selling earrings. Again, here, they're mainly focusing on earrings, probably what works best for them. They do have some bracelets, but again, it still fits the overall theme and aesthetic of the store. Really, if you look at pretty much any store, this one's actually a bit of a different one, but again, this is still different, but it's the same, right? These guys focus on diamonds. You know, diamonds are really high-end jewelry. Okay, this is covered in, this is gold and diamonds, you know, this is silver, again, high-end kind of jewelry kind of stuff. And this store prints, this store's done like $40 million, like something crazy like that, right? So really the best thing to focus on is go niche, but go niche with the aesthetic of the store. Okay, so if you're selling wall art, right, big things of wool, like wall art, like wooden sculptures and stuff like this, focus on the type of people that would buy that type of product. Okay, so what you don't want to have is like two people of like totally different demographics purchasing from one store. You want the demographic to all be kind of similar. Okay, it doesn't have to be so strict with this. You don't have to just do silver earrings, right? Like these guys, Silver Rain Silver, don't just do silver earrings. They also sell kind of, is this their store? Yeah, no, this is not even their store. But they don't just sell silver earrings. They sell other stuff, bracelets and necklaces. But they're mainly focusing on cheap, you know, 15, 12 pound, 13, you know, $10, you know. They're basically selling all the same kind of price shit, you know. And it is all just cheap shit jewelry, yeah? So this is also quite interesting as well. You can see that they're actually designing their own products and stuff, and they're doing interesting things with Etsy. Guys, I've got a confession to make. I actually own this store right here, Caitlin Minimalist. We've done 80 million to date. Yeah, the numbers that I've done are like, they're a lot to a beginner, but when you really get up there, you realize that they're not that much. You know, there's way bigger people than me. You know, I know some people not on Etsy, but I know one guy in particular that's pushing 25 a month right now. You know, we're not boys, we're not friends, like we're mates. Like I vaguely know him. I don't want to pretend like, yeah, buddy, you know, but yeah, there's some really fucking big guys out there. Like ecom, the sky is really the fucking limit of ecom. And that's the best thing about it. That's the best thing about it. You know, the sky's the actual limit. Etsy dropshipping is by far the best as well to start with. You know, longer term, I don't know if it's really the best. I don't really think it is the best, right? You're very, very, very unlikely just based upon like the kind of law of averages. Don't know if I'm using that in the right way, but the law of kind of averages, you're not going to do more revenue than Caitlin Minimalist. They've done 70M, you know, but there's a lot more Shopify stores, you know, but you start with Etsy, you get going, you make your first 20, 30, 40, 50 grand profit in a month, which is very easy to do in November. And you then use that money, roll it into the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, you know? Like a lot of really successful guys inside of Etsy Kings, which is my program, my course, they've rolled their money into doing Shopify, and now they're doing incredibly well in Shopify. I'm still trying to hit my first 10K month. 7-figure months seem so far. Yeah, that's the thing, right? You just got to focus on getting those small wins now, and then longer term, it's easy, you know? Well, easy, you know? It never gets... I'll tell you one thing, like if you're trying or you're really struggling to hit your first 10K month, like it never really gets easier, you know? Like once you've hit like 10K, but then hitting like 20 is still as hard, you know? It's still just difficult. You just got to get used to those uncomfortable situations and just keep pushing through absolutely everything. If you just keep pushing and you stay consistent above all else, then you're good. Like one way that I look at it is, like, don't get me wrong, like me personally, like I shit's fucking difficult, you know? There's always problems. There's always stuff going wrong. Like there's always issues, you know? Like especially fucking November, you know? Like the amount of issues we've had with fucking stock and the amount of issues we've had with just employees and just the whole thing. Always problems, right? Always problems. I don't know where I was going with this, to be honest. I just started just complaining. But basically, there's always issues. But oh no, I know where I was going. If you just know that you don't want to do a 9-to-5 and you know that you want to make money on your own time, you want to have your own freedom and you want to make an unlimited amount of money, right? Because entrepreneurship is unlimited. A 9-to-5 just isn't, you know, just isn't. If you fully commit to it, you'll make it, you know? If you fully commit to it, it might take a month, it might take 2 years, you know, to make the number you want to make. It might take 10 years to make the number you want to make, but you will make it eventually. You've just got to fully fucking stick to it. And if you fully fucking stick to it, then you win. Also, someone asked about my stores. Like, I'll explain the reason why I can't share my Etsy stores. To some people, it's obvious why I can't share it. But if you're more of a beginner, I want you to understand like the reason why big drop shippers, the reason why every drop shipper, even if you're doing minimal amount of money, is like they won't share their stores, is because stores are often fragile. You know, if I share my Etsy stores with you guys, maybe someone watching this doesn't like me. They're going to then try and mess with my store. So it's not really any benefit for me to tell you my stores, and then there's so much negative or potential negative for myself. The one store that I have shared many times before, this is a store that I own 50% of, and this is called mylicorice.co.uk. You can go look that up. Go purchase your licorice if you like licorice, which is a type of sweet. This is a wonderful website. This website has done almost $2 million to date. So this is a very successful store that's doing really, 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 really well right now. We're going to hit 100K month this month with it. So my expertise is definitely in ads. I've been running ads for 6 years. Ads, in my opinion, is the best. Organic, you can see lots of ups and downs. I think ads is better. And then once you've got the kind of base with, I mean, if you're talking about, like, what are you talking about actually? Yeah, wait. It depends if you're talking about Etsy or you're talking about Shopify. But Etsy, the biggest reason why Etsy is so good longer term is because the margins are really high. Like with an Etsy store, with my average Etsy stores, we're averaging 25 to 30% net profit. With a dropshipping store, really, most dropshipping stores, if you're pushing like 6-7 figures, your margins are going to be 15 to 20%, even sometimes as low as 10. The main reason for that is just advertising is very expensive and it can fluctuate in pricing. With Etsy, really, you're going to not be using ads after the first 2 months. First month, really, ads aren't going to be a majority of the thing that is bringing you sales in. If you go back to zero and have only a new Etsy store, what's your plan to back to where you are now? So if I went back to zero and I only have one Etsy store, what's my plan to get back to where I am now? Really, I think the first thing I would do is open up 5 more Etsy stores, 10 more Etsy stores. That's the first thing that I would do. I would open up loads of Etsy stores. You can't just have one Etsy store. You need to have multiple. Best way to do it. The reason why you need to have multiple is you don't want to put all of your eggs into one basket. So you don't want to just be selling in one niche because maybe that niche is just a bit shit. Maybe it's seasonal and it only works in the summer and it's now winter, you know? You don't want to put all your eggs into one basket, okay? So I'm going to get as many stores as I humanly possibly can, okay? I'm going to aim for at least 10 stores, potentially going more towards 20 and 30 and even 50, right? Just to get the breadth out there needed to make a lot of money quickly. Okay, just more stores equals more cash. Simplest thing ever, right? And then what I'm going to do is on those stores, I'm just essentially, I have the knowledge of which niches are the best, right? But telling someone else the best way to do it is I would go home favorites. I would do one store in this niche, one store in something in home decor, you know, maybe, let's find something kind of cool. This is a really interesting product. If I can find something similar to this thing right here, I'm going to list that. I'm going to steal every product from this guy's store right here. You know, anything similar that I can find on AliExpress, I'll try to list this stuff and just do something in every single niche, you know? What I mean by this is I would do one store in this, one store in this, one store in wall art, one store in kitchen and dining, one store in furniture, one store in area rugs, one store in lighting, one store in bedding, one store in storage and organization, one store in home improvement, one store in bathroom. And the strategy that I follow is I would get listings up. I would wait the 14 days so that I'm now allowed to use Etsy ads. And the second I'd use Etsy ads, I'd put the budget to $10 a day, right? So by that point, I would have 14 products on there because I'm listing one product a day, $10 a day on the ads, okay? I'm then initially not going to focus on profitability. Initially, I'm just going to focus on getting money in and getting sales coming in and getting reviews coming in. Once I get those sales and reviews around the 100 orders point, I'm then going to scale down my ads. You know, this may take me probably 2 weeks after starting ads, getting 100 sales, less if it's a really good product, maybe a week. Sometimes even if it's a really insane product, really good niche, you don't even need to run ads and you'll reach 100 orders. So yeah. That's what I would do. Can you recommend a niche to get started with right now? I have a store ready, but I can't decide what to sell. So really on Etsy, there's so many different things. I would try and find something a little bit unique, something that you find a little bit different and a little bit interesting in the home favorites thing. Again, just basing it off on what Etsy is promoting to us. You know, look at what Etsy is pushing upon to you in their marketing emails and also on their website as well. You know, millions of people visit this right here. You know, this stuff down here is personalized, but this stuff isn't, you know. Digital prints, wall decor. I wouldn't do digital. Digital products absolutely are shit on Etsy. But wall decor, wall decor is an incredibly good niche. Okay, incredibly good. So I would focus on that, bro. If I had one store to start right now, it would be in wall decor. It would be wall arts, You can do anything in here. Some shit like this, the little things right here, like the wooden shelving things, Simplest stuff ever, but it just works. It prints off you fuck, It's a bit cursed. It's a bit obscene, but on Etsy, they're very, very liberal. They love this kind of shit, So if you can find something similar to this is exactly what I would sell. A mirror, something a little bit more interesting. Again, this is being shipped from Turkey, essentially the same as China. I mean, pretty much. We can see here that a small one is £70. Probably one that someone's more likely to buy is around £170. We're just going to use search goods on AliExpress, buy this image. We're going to find a similar one, and then we're just going to become a mirror salesman, We're just going to sell all different types and shapes and sizes of mirrors, like look at all these different weird types here, vintage mirrors with LED lights. That's what I'm going to do, basically. All right, like you don't need to overcomplicate anything when it's choosing a niche. The biggest piece of advice when it comes to choosing like an Etsy dropshipping niche, and serious advice is just pick something and run with it. Pick something and just go. It's the best piece of advice. Like whether it's something like this, even you could do something like this, right? This design store where it's different glasses and fancy shit, different colored stuff. This stuff's very expensive. Like they're selling a single blue glass for £25 and it's being shipped from Turkey, like crazy good niche. So someone has put in the chat an Etsy store of theirs that they would like a review for. So this is the store right here. Honestly, I don't hate it too much, okay? So initially, we're going to look at the logo and the banner, okay? Logo and banner match. That's a good start, okay? Here, high quality art materials and unique stationery finds. It's great. Honestly, that's a good niche. Stationery is actually a very good and profitable niche, okay? That's the first things I'm going to say, okay? So we're going to have a quick look and scroll down at everything. I'm going to quickly look at this. You put production partners on there. Production partners means absolutely nothing to Etsy. They could give less of a fuck. So you can keep this on here, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Our story, that's good, to be honest. It's good, like doing the female business kind of bullshit kind of stuff. I don't know if you're actually a girl or not, but yeah, it's always good to put that shit on Etsy. Very, very liberal people love that kind of bullshit. So let's have a little look at your items. First, I'm going to check is what items you've actually sold. So you sold this leather journal diary, adventure book, couple anniversary kind of stuff. Okay, this is good. I don't hate this stuff. How long has your store been open for? Probably not that long. 7 listings. Well, I'm hoping your store's been open like a week, right? So first things first, we'll look at the listing that's actually doing well, which is this one right here. So thumbnail, okay, you don't really need to have this logo watermark on your store. Not super necessary. That's the first thing I'm going to say. So I'd say first image is that. I think that's a pretty good thumbnail. I mean, you got 2 sales already, so I'm not really going to complain and say shit about that. This looks okay, showing the different colors. I mean, I think there is more colors in this. Yes, it'd be better to show all the colors, but maybe it's not possible. You're showing that it's lined, which is good, and then you're just showing the colors. Okay, so there's potentially, I would potentially add a list, one photo. Yeah, I'd potentially add a photo here. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would try and make it a little bit clearer that this is like a password thing. I know it's quite obvious to people, but I would make it a little bit clearer that this is a password and potentially like a feature of it, That's one thing. Maybe if there was a little video, that would be a good thing to add. Maybe not, right? If not, you can just draw an arrow and zoom into it, something like this, I would potentially make it a little bit more obvious, like write some text on here saying it's all lined. It's lined with like the date thing at the top and stuff like that. Maybe it'll make it a little bit clearer, I like that you've put the sizing on here. A lot of people forget about doing this. Sizing is an incredibly important thing, and everyone wants to know how fucking long the thing is, So that's quite good. That's good. You put the sizing on there. Okay, so title. To be honest, I think this title's okay. Vintage leather journal diary with lock A5 embossed. I mean, a good way to do this is obviously You just do competitor research. See what other people are searching. Maybe be better to not go down the vintage route then, because a lot of these actually look really vintage. That's the only thing that I would say there is like, you got to kind of know which keyword you're targeting based upon. You know, if you look at vintage leather notebooks, look at this first page right here. I mean, this kind of fits. These kind of fit. I don't know if it's the most relevant one. That's yours there, right? That's probably because I just searched it in, but I think it works. I wouldn't necessarily have done that one myself, but I think it works. I think it works. So 200 pages, obviously making it super clear. A5, again, making it super clear what you will receive. Vintage, inspired, keep your thoughts. Password notebook, designed with retro effect. Yeah, honestly, I think this is pretty good. Delivery cost of £1 is a little bit, I think that's okay, because you gets it below £20 and you still make a little bit more money. I think that's pretty good, to be honest. One thing I would say is I would do a higher discount than 15%. I would just increase your price and then go back down and then do a discount of 15%. I would also say, let's have another little look. So this is the other one that sold as well, right? Yeah, I like this listing as well. Same kind of thing. I think this store's overall is pretty good. I mean, the one thing I would say is like, I do like these listings, but these don't really match. These two listings here, the photo card binder holder and the gel pens, don't really match with the listings that are actually getting sales. So this one right here, our adventure book, super cute little couple's anniversary, blah, 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 whatever. This is a good listing, but I'm going to say that like these products here, the 3 products that you've sold don't match the products that the other products you got listed, you know? So I would focus more on adding similar things to this, you know, similar things to this right here. Then I would focus on adding like gel pens and shit like that. And I would potentially change the focus on the store as moving away from stationery and focusing more on like journals and diaries and all different types of that, because that's what you've seen success with. So with Etsy, you want to double down and triple down and quadruple down on what is working especially well for you. And you want to do less of what is not working so well. So going forward, like you can still try and do some stationery and some pens, like a little bit of it, just to see if it works. But like in the shorter term, in the next month, I would particularly focus on diaries and like little books with leather fronts and things that are a little bit unique. You know, that's what I would say. That's what I would say. Like there's so many different things that you can sell here, you know, like this is more of like a nautical one. Like there's so many different variations of the exact product that you've listed. Okay, well, this is not working, but we'll have a look at this. All right, this stuff right here, there's so many different things that you can sell. The nautical more looking, I think that's maybe the same one. But there's a lot of different variations of the pre-existing product that is working well for you that I would then come in and start listing all of that stuff. So I would double down and triple down on all these different kind of stuff, all these different notebooks, and do that. But yeah, that's what I would do. So overall, not a terrible store. Didn't rip it apart as much as I would have loved to. Is it reasonable to get 2 to 3 day dispatch times from a private supplier agent and / or upfront last mile tracking for certain countries, or should I be happy with 4 to 5 days? Depends on how much you're willing to pay. But yeah, like, I mean, good suppliers ship same day, like dispatch same day. So yeah. Like you can get better than that, but it kind of depends on what you really value in your store. Like, are you willing to pay more money to get this kind of thing? No, not everyone is. Personally, I don't know if I really am. It is also about mindset, as you have said in previous videos. The 9 to 5 is a dead end. Yeah, that's why I quit a 9 to 5. I mean, like I had a 9 to 5, which was like an apprenticeship, but I ended up leaving the apprenticeship and just working for them like full time, right? Not as an apprentice. And it wasn't that my job was a dead end or is that I particularly didn't like the company. Like I really liked working for the company. It wasn't even the money particularly. It was just like, I just got bored, you know? You do such a mundane thing in your 9 to 5. Me personally, I'm quite a quick learner. I learn and understand things pretty quickly. And when I'm not learning, when I'm not doing something new and interesting, I get bored and I get very complacent and just lazy, you know? So yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, I think if you're reasonably intelligent, it's very hard to stay in a standard 9 to 5. What are the main reasons stores get banned and how to avoid them? Go slower, you know, don't list so fast. I think that's a big reason. It's more about store setup, images, the type of things that you're listing, the products, the photos, different things like this, you know. Do you think Shopify is actually not worth it? So my thing with Shopify dropshipping is it still works, but there are better options out there. I think a lot of people see Shopify dropshipping, they see the stuff that everyone says about it, how it's amazing and stuff like this, and they don't have an idea of the negatives of it and all the pain points and all the problems with it. And really the main problem is that it just takes so much money to actually get it up and going. And that's not necessarily such a problem. Like, okay, if you have a bit of a budget, let's say you have $5,000 in savings and you want to start your own business, okay? With Shopify dropshipping, you could put that money into it, but I think it's more about the mindset that comes with spending that level of money. If you have never done online business before, you're not going to be comfortable and you're not going to be on your game if you're spending that level of money, especially if it's your savings. It's really just not going to be the best thing. Okay. So Shopify dropshipping is great, but it's got so much harder and it's so incredibly busy that for a complete and utter beginner to do it, it's not the best thing to do. It's just really not the best thing to do. Right? It's really just not the best thing to do. There's so many better things out there. Like Etsy dropshipping is really great. Like longer term, Shopify dropshipping is great. The scalability that you have with Shopify is great. The different marketing moves, the stability you're able to bring, you're able to exit your store. There's lots of great things to it. But as a beginner, flat out, no. Like a beginner should not do Shopify dropshipping. If you have no previous experience in the world of business and you go do Shopify dropshipping, there is a very, very, very high chance you're just going to lose all of your money, you're going to lose all your motivation, and you won't have made any money. Whereas with Etsy dropshipping, it's very difficult to lose all your money and not have made anything. Unless you're a complete moron, it's basically impossible to do that. So yeah. I just don't like so many people message me like, I tried Shopify dropshipping, I lost $2,000 and I've made like fucking 20 sales, I just don't think it's the best. Yeah, banning IDs, that's the stupidest thing anyone has ever said. Do you have to change the ID when you create a new store? No, you don't have to change an ID when you create a new store. Not at all. You can join Etsy Kings and then you don't have to. I have 11 listings, very high quality handmade candles. I run ads and I can't make a simple sale. Well, your products are just shit, I don't mean to be mean, but if you have 11 listings and you've spent, let's say $40 on ads and you have 0 sales, your products are shit, right? If you spent less than like $40 and you don't have a sale, you're okay, Depends on how much money. A lot of people come onto Etsy, they spend $3 in ads and they expect to get a sale for $100. You got to bear that in mind. So if you've spent $40 in ads and you have 11 products and you don't have a sale, your products are shit. Your products are the problem. That's just the truth about it, So change the products. Stop listing that. It's just not going to work on Etsy. I mean, there are some caveats to that where it's like, maybe the problem is product images. Maybe the problem is like store setup or something different. But yeah, Etsy don't spend my ad budget. Why? They don't spend it because your store's either brand new or your products are shit and no one wants to look at them. Those are really the only two reasons why Etsy won't spend your ad budget. The solution to Etsy not spending your ad budget is just actually list better products or just wait, Really waiting's the best option if they're not spending your ad budget. Keep listing products, keep listing great products with great imagery and keep running the ads and eventually they will start to spend it, okay? Really, right in the beginning, I'm going to recommend $5, maybe $10, but really $5 in ad budget. If you do $500 in ad budget, they're not gonna spend that. It looks weird. It's not gonna work. Okay, but do like a minimal ad budget. $5 a day is literally like pennies. It's not really much money. Do that. Build up the store. Keep listing. Keep doing your thing. Keep working on it, and they will start spending it eventually. And once they start spending it, you're either going to be able to see if your products are shit or if they're good. Also, was advertising at $1 for a bit, then switched to $3 per day when Etsy allowed it. Should I keep increasing the budget? I mean, if it's fully spending the $3 in terms of it's fully like every penny is being spent, then yeah, I would increase it. Yeah, I would increase it.